Hey YouTube, it is Community Day tomorrow, and Axew is getting breaking swipes. So Axew Community Day, we love these dragon communities. So most of the time they become pretty meta. So what I initially thought was, okay, probably gonna be terrible in Great League, probably gonna be terrible in Ultra League. Match League, it'll have some play and it'll dominate in the Master Premier League. And I was half right about the second half, kind of wrong about the first half here. So let's go into HAXORUS here. So HAXORUS gets Break and Swipe. So for those of you who don't know, Break and Swipe is like a Dragon Claw clone, but it lowers your opponent, it guarantees to lower your opponent's attack. And I was thinking like, okay, I just thought like these third stage evolution Pokemon just have a terrible time in Great League because they don't have the bulk. Plus a dragon type, it's just all the ice is out there and stuff like that. It's probably gonna do terrible. And then I looked at this and I'm like 23 and 20 with a 518 average and a pretty like even distribution. And it got me thinking, I'm like, what am I missing here? So then you go down the list and then you're like, okay, Ninetales, yeah, a Charmer or an Ice. Obviously you're gonna lose there. Charizard with Dragon Claw, sure. And then this is where I started getting, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is why it's bad, right? Because you just have like these Medicham, Defense Deoxys, Trevenant, Altaria, Sableye, these like meta Pokemon that are just going to just outbulk you, right? You're a dragon, so you're taking neutral from a ton of these moves. You're just going to outbulk you. I'm like, okay, so why is this like not as bad as I think it is? So let's just start with the cons. Again, look at the like Medicham is in the meta, Trevenant's gone but not gone. Sableye is the best, one of the better save swaps now. Crest is one of the better save swaps now. I just talked about Pelipper, Frostlass in a video of how strong it can be. So I'm like, there's a lot of things that you lose to. But then I got to thinking like, there are actually a couple things on here that is very, very strong. So the first is you are a dragon, but you are running counter, right? So you're going to do well against the steals. So Registeel, Galarian Stunfisk is a nice win here. So the steals you have an answer to. You also resist your dragon. So you resist water and electric. So Lantern is everywhere, and you are now an answer to Lantern and the steals. So I was like, okay, I see you. Like Registeel, Lantern, Swampert, same thing. Like Swampert needs to land the Earthquake, but between the counters and the Break and Sleep lowering the attack, like that is something that you can just kind of take out with the counters. Darks, again, Darks are weak to counter, right? Between that and the Break and Swipe, and then so there's a lot of things that are weak here to counter. So even though you have like super effective ice punches coming at you with like the sandslash here, if you actually run the simulation, just the counters take it out before they even get to a second move. So these counters are huge, doing 12.9% damage. Well, that's again doing so much damage because it takes double super effective. Let's look at something like Bastiodon, where it's a Break and Swipe sort of lowering the attack here, but I bet you if you just went straight Surf, like you don't even need the Break and Swipe there because you can just probably just go straight Surf to take this out, right? So you are seeing some of the lack of bulk here, right? Just like straight smackdowns taking you down to 37 health, but like counter is such one of the best fast moves in the game. Surf provides you great coverage against these ground Pokemon. Break and Slice allows you to lower the attack, and you resist some of the main core in Swampert. I mean, Swampert's Hydro Cannon, and then like Lantern with electric and that. So really interesting. You really beat Powder Snow just going straight Break and Swipe, lowering their attack. Crazy to me. This is how much these counter damages are doing. Like this counter damage must do so much to be able to take out I guess a Shadow Walrein, so it's double super effective. But even the normal Walrein, you are able to just go double Break and Swipe to take this out. So this Pokemon I initially dismissed in the Great League, but man, I was wrong. This thing has a lot of play in the Great League. So if I'm going to use this in the Great League, I'm obviously covering my main ice weakness in Fairy weakness for starters. And then like this core is where it gets tricky because you got to cover Crest, Sableye, Defense Deoxys, Medicham, and a Fairy, right? So you can't just go Steel to cover the Fairy because then you're going to be weak to Medicham and Defense Deoxys. You could go like Sableye. No, Sableye makes you double weak. That makes you double weak to Fairy. So you can't do that either. So I'm thinking maybe like a Lickitung is probably your best option, right? Because Licktong's bulky enough that you can just kind of like take this charm damage. Metashame, Defense Deoxys are both weak to Lick. And then you're like a pretty wall to Trevenant and Sableye and Crest, right? You're a good answer there with your Lick. So I think pairing this with something bulky like that is a good option in the Great League. If you go to Ultra League, 21 and 26. So my first impression was there's more Fairy and Ice in Ultra League than there is in Great League, and there's less options for just straight up counter user domination. And here's the thing, right? You have, again, Sylveon, both Ninetales, Gramble, Nidoqueen as a Nidoqueen will be up more as a is going to resist the counters. Tapu Fini as a fairy, Buzzhole as a bug, Covergigas is like a lot more ghost. Jelson has a lot more play. Flyers have a lot more play, like Pidgeot and stuff like that, right? So, and you lose. Interesting. You beat Walrein again, and this is where Walrein has even more bulk. So that's the problem. Like these third stage evolutions really limit in the lower leagues, Great League and Ultra League, from their bulk. So looks like you're losing those there. And again, the stuff you lost to in the lower Cresselia, Trevenant, and stuff like that, you're still losing to here. Even losing to Scrafty now, which is interesting because you're just, I'm guessing that's foul play dependent. I'm guessing you still pick up the wins where you're like against Swampert is probably like a big one. Beat the other Darks, Umbreon, Obscure, and things that take super effective from counter, Greed, and Double. Like that's not surprising. Cobalion, right? That's a nice answer since that's there everywhere. So it is a good option to run there. So I think it has some play in Ultra League. I still think it doesn't have a ton of play. The problem with open, so that's Ultra League. Again, you can use it in Ultra League. I think it's got the potential. The question is like, why would you use this as opposed to another? I mean, one, it just may be like accessibility. Like you're using this instead of a double because I don't have a double and I have now access to this. So that is an option. For you, you just got to cover a lot of weaknesses in Ice and Fairy being the main ones, and Flyers and Ghosts. So there's a lot of things that you would need to cover here. It seems more wide range than the Great League that you can just kind of cover with one Pokemon. So I think that it takes a little more team building skill with the Ultra League. Master League Open, really bad, not surprising. So again, there's too many Zacian just running everywhere. And there's too many other things that just resist counter in the rate. So it's not just Fairy, it's the Flyers. There's a ton of Flyers. There's Psychic, right? There's even like the Metagross, you're doing only neutral there. And then the Surf is the best thing you throw. So it's kind of limited. And there's just way too many other dragons for Open Great League in my Open Master League, in my opinion. We can go to rankings just to see that. So in Ultra League, so Great League, it's like 50-ish. Ultra League, 106, which makes sense, right? You're just a little weaker in Ultra League. You pick up a few more losses. There's a few more Fairies and a few more Flyers and a few more everything just kind of makes you a little weaker there. Open Master League, 34. Okay, that's actually not as bad as I expected in Open Master. I expected it a little lower than 34. 14, 20. Like I said, you still have so many of the core losses here. Where are your wins? Right, things that are weak to counter. So Excadrill, Mamoswine, Snorlax, Zarude. So that makes sense. Kyogre because you resist all the water. Swampert, right? So sure you have wins here. And Groudon, you can just go straight Surf here. It's just like a lot of losses against the meta. Dialga, Palkia, Garchomp, Zekrom, Reshiram, Giratina, Dragonite, all the Fairies, Mewtwo, like Lugia. It just seems like for me, Open Great League, Open Master League is not happening. However, what is not here, and I don't know if I can know how to do custom. Let me see if I can exclude. No, I need to look into like how to exclude legendary Pokemon. My guess is that can I just do Master League Premier? Sorry, just give me a second here. My guess is that this is going to have a ton of play in Master League Premier, right? Where all those legendaries that I just mentioned are banned. Premier Cup, here we are. Let me see if it allows me to generate Premier Cup here. Anyways, while it generates there, look at that. There it is. That is, see, this is just knowing, this is just playing the game for so long. This is knowing that with the main legendaries gone, which are all the dragons, which is like Zacian as the main fairy, you're now going to have way more play in a Premier League. And number 2 on this list, Breaking Swipe and Night Slash. Breaking Swipe will do great against almost, again, you're going to lose to Florges is your main answer there. But Breaking Swipe, just being allowed to, can I run the simulation here? No. But here's sort of your main thing, like straight dragons that have dragon type fast moves, Garchomp, Dragonite, Guja, just because they have straight dragon type moves and you only have counter, you're going to lose to them from that perspective. But look at everything that's weak to counter here. Excadrill, Magnezone, Snorlax, great there. And then just being able to throw that Dragonite, Breaking Swipe and lower your opponent's attack is going to add up over time. So HAXORUS, definitely worth getting in the Master League if you can get that hundo. So priorities, if I only had like super limited resources, obviously try and get one for everything, because you never know and what the meta will be. But Master League Premier, I think HAXORUS is going to be a beast. So I am looking for that for Master League Premier. Is my number 1 priority. So if you get the hundo. My next priority is actually probably Great League. I just think there are other dragons in Ultra League between Giratina, Dragonite. What other dragons are in Great Ultra? There's not a ton of Ultra League dragons just because there's so many ice and fairies, right? So that's why my priority would be like the Master League Premier first, Great League second. Great League actually really intrigues me, and then Ultra League third. So definitely a community day worth going for. As we've seen in the past, like, well, actually, the Brutal Swing has not made Hydreigon that useful. As you can see, number 18 here. It hasn't been good in Great League, Ultra League, or Master League. And again, the dragons usually suffer, and Garchomp, same thing. Garchomp's become a beast in Master League, but not so much in Great League and Ultra League. So this, honestly, looks like the first Pokemon that may have play in other leagues. And I think it's because the Breaking Swipe is a nice one. I think having a counter user, counter is just one of the best moves in the game, right? So having a counter user, but also having a charge move that is fast and guaranteed to lower your opponent's attack and can add up over time quickly is very, very strong. And that's why it has more play in the Great League and Ultra League than the other dragon Pokemons that we have seen in the past community days. So definitely one worth grinding for. Did I not put on my video this whole time? I thought my video was on. I don't see my video now. Anyways, I will have to go back and watch this. Just listen to my voice anyways the whole time. I thought I put it on, but I guess it kind of fell off somewhere along the way. But that is basically it. So I appreciate you watching. Appreciate the thumbs up and comments. Sorry if I disappeared halfway through or I'm not here at all. But my voice is, so I hope that is good enough. Anyways, appreciate watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.